What is up? YouTube, how y'all doing? This is my new sign. Peace on both sides. Peace and love on both sides with an arrow going up. Meaning that it's time to take the world, not just the United States, the whole world up with positivity, positive things. With that being said, oh my God, this dude. I don't know what to say, man. ICE raid, flatten migrants, compound as illegals abandon California. I gotta give it to Trump. I just gotta give it to him on this one thing. You know, we all human and we all make mistakes. And I think Trump has made a lot of mistakes and he probably do a lot of negative stuff. I don't know what the heck is going on with this lady being fired. And I don't think it has anything with Diddy and people telling us she switched sides and she was working for Diddy. No, that woman put the pedal to the metal on Diddy. Anyway, we back at this thing right here. Trump, if y'all seen how terrible and how easy these people walking across the border, showing people identification on a cell phone and they passing it. What? I can't even I'm paying my money and I want to come back home and I got to fill out all this documentation. Us good people, everybody who is doing good, got to go through all this paperwork. Everybody is doing bad, walks right across the border. That's a damn shame, man. Anyway, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check out this video right here. Golly Moses, let's see what's happening, man. They ain't playing.
As diplomatic efforts between the U.S. and Iran play out, intelligence suggests that Iranian nationals are trying to get into the country with the help from the Mexican cartels.
So Mexican cartels are teaming up with America's enemies to flood our country with dangerous individuals. And while the idea of state-sponsored actors sneaking across our border is incredibly frightening, things get even worse when you realize ICE is taking down very sophisticated smuggling networks, which seem to be incredibly common in sanctuary cities for some reason.
And there is a heightened state of alert over concerns of sleeper cells here at home. And this comes as the feds make an arrest at a Los Angeles area house. They say it's an Iranian human smuggling hub that repeatedly harbors illegal migrants linked to terrorism.
From the FBI to Border Patrol, federal authorities do remain on high alert of a possible retaliatory attacks within the United States. Now, according to new internal documents, Border Patrol agents on the southern border did receive intel that 35 Iranian nationals in Mexico were planning to cross the border illegally.
Yeah, that's right. Border Patrol actually drove us between the border fences today and took us to exactly where they found that cross-border tunnel. The tunnel at its highest point was 48 inches high and 28 inches wide, with lighting, ventilation, and a rail car system. Upon entry, agents also encountered multiple makeshift barricades, which were placed by the tunnel workers.
This is a major security concern, so just...
Man, that is crazy. That's right. Keep cracking down. Keep cracking down. They got tunnels and everything to get into the United States. Are y'all seeing this?
Ventilation and a rail car system. Upon entry, agents also encountered multiple makeshift barricades, which were placed by the tunnel workers.
This is a major security concern. So just last week, ICE did arrest 11 Iranian nationals living in the United States. Some of these individuals came through visa and parole loopholes under the Biden administration. Some had final deportation orders for years, but remained in the United States.
So the idea that everyone crossing the US border just wants to live the American dream continues to be proven false. But what nobody's talking about is the networks empowering these dangerous individuals are the exact same ones that have been around for decades, as they are the work of Mexican cartels and smugglers who up until 2025 had a $13 billion per year business, sneaking the wrong people into our country for obnoxious fees, sometimes in the tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh my God,
where once inside, they transport these folks through networks of smuggling hubs, which could be in your very backyard, especially if you live in a sanctuary city, as these places make great hiding spots for folks who are not supposed to be here. And since the start of this year, we've seen massive smuggling operations run by foreign nationals taken down, sometimes during the wee hours of the morning, but also in broad daylight, with those doing the smuggling and those they're bringing in both being taken into custody after having traveled here secretly from the farthest corners of the globe. And that brings us to the real issue no progressive open borders advocate wants to discuss. America's got enemies in addition to them, and sanctuary cities just empower those people. And with the US border seeing some of the lowest recorded crossing rates in decades, the fees to enter America without permission are now sky high, leaving only the very wealthy or the very state-sponsored with the resources necessary to enter our country in ways that are becoming increasingly more creative.
Yeah, that's right. Border Patrol actually drove us between the border fences today and took us to exactly where they found that cross-border tunnel. The tunnel at its highest point was 48 inches high and 28 inches wide, with lighting, ventilation, and a rail car system. The tunnel stretched nearly 3,000 feet between a house in Tijuana and made it 1,000 feet into the U.S. before agents found it.
So that tunnel, which led to a house in Mexico, was under construction, but that's just one of the ways people are circumnavigating the U.S. border. And the other would be by sea, with sea-based incursions being very difficult to stop because they can't be walled off and blocked just like a land crossing could be. Regardless, once these criminals get inside America, they need a place to hide. And as you're about to see, the locations of these stash houses can be pretty easy to predict.
Border Patrol agents took over a neighborhood in North Hills, zeroing in on a house they say has been acting as a human smuggling hub.
Those people were on the FBI terrorist watch list, but some neighbors simply don't believe that this is true.
Oh, really?
Customs and Border Patrol raided this home on Napa Street in North Hills. 2 people inside the home were detained.
They pulled me out, they put me in handcuffs, and then put me in the back of the van.
This woman, who lives in a separate unit on the property, was also detained. They released her, she says, when they realized she didn't live at the address on the warrant.
Violated, I'm upset. I have high blood pressure, so I shouldn't be stressing out. And
sit your butt down. We human. We gonna make mistakes. The government is human. They gonna make mistakes. These people are stressed out. You talking about stress? Sit your butt. They let you go. You standing up. Now you get on. I hate this, man. You get on, man. You know I might have to see a doctor. I'm trying to sue and all this. Really? Watch this, y'all. This burns me up, man.
They released her, she said.
They release you, so sit down somewhere, go home.
Home were detained.
They pulled me out, they put me in handcuffs, and then put me in the back of the van.
This woman, who lives in a separate unit on the property, was also detained. They released her, she says, when they realized she didn't live at the address on the warrant.
Violated, I'm upset. I have high blood pressure, so I shouldn't be stressing out, and I'm very stressed out right now. Very stressed out.
Customs and Border Patrol.
Okay, so this neighbor, of course, nobody wants to have the apartment next to theirs get raided, but instead of being upset with the policies that allowed the wrong folks to live next to her to begin with, she's upset that those people were pulled out in a manner that was not conducive to living comfortably in America. And this is exactly why criminals are shacking up in sanctuary cities. They know they're protected, not just by the local legal system, which will give them a driver's license, free health care, and won't turn them over to ICE even if they go to jail, but will also protect them because some neighbors are real activists and they'll come out of the woodwork and assault ICE when they're trying to make an arrest because they've been misled by the television and their leaders into thinking that if law enforcement is doing its job, some grave injustice is taking place. And to terrorists and cartel members, this is music to their ears.
Very stressed out.
Customs and Border Patrol released a statement about the operation, saying in part, earlier this week, CBP arrested 7 other Iranian nationals at this address, including individuals on the FBI terror watch list and Iranian human trafficking network associates. This location has been used repeatedly to harbor illegal entrants, including foreign nationals linked to terrorism and flagged on the FBI's terrorist watch list.
So at what point do you go and arrest the landlord? At what what point does repeatedly end? Did they let this go on so that they could track the operation? We don't know. But what we do know is this home, it had a history of this kind of thing, which is absolutely ridiculous. Because if one of these is out there that's got a history like this, you know there are others. But smugglers are getting sneaky, and instead of renting a physical home, sometimes what they do now is they embed themselves in an Airbnb temporarily.
What started out right as a really easy way to book our family vacations, to book a vacation home somewhere, is now being exploited by smugglers looking for a safe place to stash their human cargo. So this property owner became suspicious after noticing unusual activity, immediately contacted Homeland Security investigations. When agents arrived, they found 13 migrants from Mexico and Guatemala inside of that rental.
You know what we've seen a lot, and my sources tell me, is a lot of prior deports. People that have been in this country illegally, have been deported, and are now back. And since they know they cannot come in and turn themselves in, they are being smuggled into these stash houses.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. So smugglers, they're not only using Airbnbs, not just in sanctuary cities, but everywhere in America to get temporary residents so that they can hide and then move to their next location. The people they're bringing in oftentimes are the worst of the worst. And to top it all off, you've either got homeowners who are complicit in these scams and are part of these criminal operations, or who are totally unsuspecting and play along with these criminals, thinking that the person booking their home just wants to have a massive family vacation without knowing that their house is now part of a criminal enterprise. But as you're about to see, it's even better for these criminals if they can sequester their activities in parts of the country where they know they'll be defended.
Neighbors who live next door didn't want to go on camera, but told NBC4 the group of young men who lived in the home were asylum seekers from Iran and don't believe they are a threat.
People come here to seek a better life, right? And we all have that right.
Roxana Arguelles heard of the raid and immediately drove to the neighborhood to distribute informational flyers. She believes the people taken don't pose a
Hold up, man. Wait a minute. Sit your tail down. I understand. And watch this, y'all. Watch right here.
NBC4 the group of young men who lived in the home were asylum seekers from Iran and don't believe they are a threat.
They're not a threat. You're right. They're not a threat, but they did wrong. A little kid go into the candy store and steal a little piece of bubble gum. 2 cent, 5 cent candy, 10 cent candy now, or whatever. We used to call it penny candy back in the day. But a little kid go in and steal it, hold it when nobody looking, and put it in their pocket. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Just because it's a little kid and it's a penny, that's that gray area. That's that gray area she talking about. Watch this.
People come here to seek a better life.
People come here to seek a better life. Okay, that's cool. But you got to do it the correct way. You can't just come in our country. F that. You can't just come in the country.
Right? And we all have that right.
Roxana.
No, you don't. No, you don't have that right. You can't just, well, I want a better house, so I'm just going to pull up at somebody's house. What's wrong? We all got a right to have a better house, and I don't like my house. I want a better one. So you're just going to pull up on somebody's house? That's what you're talking about. That's the same thing. She sound like she right. Playing that sympathy card.
Men who lived in the home were asylum seekers from Iran and don't believe they are a threat.
People come here to seek a better life, right? And we all have that right.
Roxana Arguelles heard of the raid and immediately drove to the neighborhood to distribute informational flyers. She believes the people taken don't pose a threat, but are just more victims, she says, of this administration's deportation operation.
So why would she believe that? The only thing she's looking at are 1, 2, 3, 4.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Bull. That's bull, man. That's bull. It sounds like it's not bull. It sounds like she's right, but you are wrong. You got right and wrong. You all in the gray area. Everybody got a right to seek better life. Yeah, you're right. You can seek it in your own country. You can seek a better life, but do it in your own country. Don't come over here. Come on, man.
Roxana Arguelles
Legally.
heard of the raid and immediately drove to the neighborhood to distribute informational flyers. She believes the people taken don't pose a threat, but are just more victims, she says, of this administration's deportation operation.
So why would she believe that? The only thing she's looking at are 5 soldiers bringing this person in handcuffs out of their home after they were parked in front of the street in a military vehicle. How can she look at that and say these people are obviously innocent or guilty? She doesn't know anything. But what we do know is that you wouldn't have a military operation in a residential neighborhood for no reason. On top of that, what this woman probably doesn't know is that this home was a known smuggling ring destination. However, what better advertisement could you possibly make to let the enemies of our country know California is wide open for business? We've moved past the point of defending illegal immigrants from Mexico, and now we're defending foreign terrorists from who knows where. All because the president running the country right now isn't who some of these people voted for, and since he's in charge, all of these radicals believe people in handcuffs on their way to the back of a military vehicle should walk free. But let's be real, terror threats living in someone's backyard, that's horrible. And most Americans would be totally supportive of law enforcement if they came knocking and then removed the wrong people who never should have been here. Most of us would be very happy about that.
Absolutely, Dana. These are two individuals who not only have terrorist links, but also are involved in a human smuggling, human trafficking operation we likely think surrounding terrorism. But further than this has been a priority since day one of this administration to get these extremists, to get these known and suspected terrorists out of this country. Just in the last 150 days, under President Trump and Secretary Noem's leadership, 570 known or suspected terrorists have been picked up, arrested, and deported off the American people's streets. Further, Border Patrol has apprehended almost 1,000 individuals who are on the terror watch list. It's stunning, Dana, the amount of people who are terrorists who are allowed to walk with impunity on America's streets.
Well, they're being protected in certain parts of the country where folks automatically think that if law enforcement wants to arrest you, you're some sort of victim of America and you should be protected and you should be allowed to stay here forever and you've done nothing wrong and we're just going to take your word for it. And mind you, this is only one recently busted criminal operation. News Nation's got a great report on mass arrests happening at the southern border of Iranian nationals. How are they getting the money to do this and travel over here? And why is it all happening right now? These are big questions. And as you're about to see, there are other possibly state-sponsored actors who've entered America for purposes that are equally frightening.
Have been arrested for allegedly spying on U.S. Navy service members and bases. They're accused of recruiting personnel for Chinese Ministry of State Security. Congressman Darrell Issa, Republican from California, joins me now. Congressman, do you think Xi Jinping is aware of all of this and actually organizing spying on America?
It's a matter of policy for China to do this. So this particular group of spies, well, when you consider that they may have thousands of spies here, or they do have thousands of spies here, including a number of embedded students, I wouldn't know that he would know the name of them, but absolutely. That's one of the reasons, Stuart, that they buy so much land near bases. They even invested in Tijuana, just south of my district, in a listening post that can listen to us from Mexico.
That is incredibly frightening, but it makes sense if you are in an economic worldwide conflict with America, which is a soft conflict like China is. It would make sense to have your assets around the country and also inside of it if possible. And the operation we're hearing about in this report is just one of many. In fact, a recent smuggling bust in Florida saw many individuals from China getting arrested in mass raids. And the odd thing about this is the smugglers driving these U-Haul vans, which were rented, they didn't speak English. They were fluent in Spanish. And in the back of the vans, they were transporting dozens of people who'd been dropped off on the shores of Florida and were then supposed to make their way into the country.
Electing political, military.
And y'all know the Democratic Party has made all this stuff happen. Y'all know that part, right? This is what they doing under our noses. Us Democrats, right? I don't vote no more. I ain't down with none of these parties, none of this stuff. Because I'm looking for good people, not bad people. The Democratic Party, I think, has the most people who are not looking or understanding. Not they just going by they've been told by the news or something. I cannot believe the 4 years that this guy been in office. How many people have came over the borders? Do y'all remember when that guy set that girl on fire in New York subway and sat there and watched her burn? That man was in the country illegally for the second time. That's what made me open my eyes and start watching and see what's going down.
And in the back of the vans, they were transporting dozens of people who'd been dropped off on the shores of Florida and were then supposed to make their way into the country.
Collecting political, military, and technological secrets. In a statement, Attorney General Pam Bondi said, quote, "This case underscores the Chinese government's sustained and aggressive effort to infiltrate our military." The following year, while both men were in China, they're accused of working to arrange what's called a dead drop, leaving at least $10,000 in cash inside a locker at a Livermore, California bowling alley for a U.S.-based co-conspirator acting on behalf of MSS interests. The operation involved several U.S.-based individuals, including a woman identified by investigators as Chen's wife, who was caught on surveillance footage placing the backpack in the locker. The DOJ also alleges the suspects gathered intelligence on U.S. service members and...
So this is real spy stuff, and even though some of the people involved in these operations came into the U.S. legally, maybe they got like a student visa, a travel visa, something that is work-related, there are now so many of these incidents taking place that the FBI has their hands full with hundreds of cases to track down, like people entering a U.S. missile base, tourists going on a quote-unquote scuba trip near a naval facility. And what's frightening about all of this is these individuals entered the country in a verifiable manner. They didn't all sneak in. Some came in through holes in the Swiss cheese, so to speak. And if people are able to sneak into the country in a quasi-legal manner, and then we've got these vans in Florida getting pulled over with dozens of individuals who aren't here legally, it kind of makes you wonder what the true number of potential foreign adversaries in the United States actually is. And it also makes you wonder why residents of sanctuary cities have no problem with any of this and are ready to defend those people. Is it because they dislike America that much? Do they believe the whole idea of a foreign threat on U.S. soil is a myth? Is that what these folks are thinking? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
It's crazy, man, how people can jump out there without doing any research and not even looking at exactly what's going on down in Texas, man. I have interviewed and talked to so many people about Carlos. Do you know the more people come into this country illegally, they need to eat. So they need to go find some jobs. So they gotta do the little jobs we don't want to do. That's how the whole thing starts. It messes up our work balance for our kids, the poor people. Somebody got to do the jobs. If you can't find somebody to clean your house at $1 an hour, then you got to raise the price. You understand what I'm saying? So our economy will go up higher. Y'all don't understand this mess to the point. See, once you get older, I ain't care about it when I was young. But once you start getting a little older, say, wait a minute. You mean to tell me we can make our streets safer? If it was easier for the kids and everybody to get a job, a higher paying job. That way they would turn off the TV with all its commercials and they won't be so quick to see the newest Jordans coming out. What's the coolest car I wish I had and I could steal? They would take their butt to work and turn that TV off. The idiot box, where they seeing all this stuff that they wish they can have, the dream. And they so desperate to find the dream that they will lie, cheat, and steal to get it. We need to stop filling our kids' heads up with all this bull crap and show them more of a reality life where they can actually thrive. For real. Every time I look, somebody's getting locked up. for doing something they ain't had no business doing, trying to trick the system. Can't trick the system. Embrace the system, man. Get these people up out the country. And I guarantee you, the United States will be a safer place and a better place to live. Hey, 2 peace signs, man. 2 peace signs. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.